rage baiting taught me an amazing life lesson. And yes, I'm talking about rage baiting, the word that's come along the last few years, where you bait someone into getting angry, you get on their nerves. And when I think about that, the thing that pops up is that Phase video. I don't know if you've seen it or not, the old Phase video where they were rage baiting older people in that video, but I'll put a photo there. But it taught me an amazing lesson. And I want to premise that I try to stay away from rage baiting now, because unless it's just for humor purposes, I feel like it can be a bit too much. But you can always learn your lessons from the past, no matter what it is. And whenever I rage baited someone, I only rage baited them because of the reaction they gave me. And every time they gave me a reaction, I wanted to rage bait them more. And that's the same with other people who rage baited me, or whatever. When I saw people rage baiting others, there was this person at school who used to get rage baited a lot when I was at school before I left. There was this person who used to get rage baited a lot, and I always used to think, why is he always getting rage baited? And I realized it was because he was giving such a reaction every single time. And when I was journaling today, I know this sounds so random, but when I was journaling today, I realized it links so much to the mindset side of when you have thoughts or the voice in your head that doesn't serve you. And what I mean by that is when that thing is going on in your head that's telling you aren't good enough, is bringing up past things, that is doing all of this to get a reaction from you, and you find that you're fighting it all the time. And I've found myself fighting it as well in the past. And I realized that this thing here, and I like to think of it as the ego, whatever you want to call it, I like to think of it as the ego, and then the pain body is part of the ego. But the ego wants to feed off of the reaction. So the reaction is the ego's food. So when this thought pops up, when this emotion pops up, the reaction that you give is feeding it. And every time you feed it, it comes back bigger. It comes back bigger, and it comes back with more intensity, till where it feels like it's so overwhelming. And I've had experiences in the past where I feel so overwhelmed by this voice in my head, or these thoughts, or the ego, and it just feels so intense that you go to a point where you're like, I can't do anything other than just accept it and not react. And the minute you do so, you realize that it loses its power. Because when you're getting rage baited, or when you're rage baiting someone else and they don't give you a response, what's the will to do it? And every time they don't give you a response, you have less incentive to do so, less incentive to do so, less incentive to do so. And I realized that whenever you don't give a response to the ego, it gets less fuel, less fuel, less fuel, less fuel, until you completely get rid of it. Until you completely disidentify and create the gap between you and it. And you completely, well, I guess disidentifying you can do in the moment. You can disidentify with the ego straight away, which is the process of not reacting and understanding it's not you. But the minute you keep on doing this, the minute you recognize it, recognize the thought in your head, recognize it's not you, disidentify with it, create the gap, and allow it to flow away. Every single time you do this, over time, you're going to build up a repertoire that means that it's run out, it's starved, and it will no longer come back. And it really links to some teachings in spirituality and philosophy, where let's look at Taoism by Lao Tzu. I think I've said the name right. He talks about always flowing, not being so controlling on circumstances, not being so controlling on the things going around you. And that's so important and linking to this as well. And then you've got to look at people like Eckhart Tolle, who speaks about the present moment and making sure that you don't let the ego get fed, exactly like I'm telling you. Because if you can realize and be the awareness of the reaction, you are greater than everything going on. You start to step back and you ground yourself into the present moment, and you let everything observe and pass you, because it doesn't deserve your energy. If you really think about it, there's so many things in your life that deserve your energy more than this. There's so many things that need the energy that you are giving to this ego that isn't serving you. And I guess I want to leave you with this, is that the minute you give power to something that you don't want is the minute you strengthen it. And I know it is so difficult. I know it is extremely, extremely difficult, because trust me, trust me, I understand this. I'm telling you from experience. But the minute you give it power is the minute that it will foster. So every single time it arises, have this consciously in your mind. Have this consciously there to understand that, let me allow it to flow out. Put my attention, put my energy, put my focus into the things that I want to foster and I want to grow: myself, my authentic version of me, my connection to God, the universe, my goals, my work that I'm doing, my connections with the amazing people in my life, relationships, whatever it might be. That is where your energy has to go. So I know the topic really doesn't seem like it links to rage baiting, but I think it really teaches you something so powerful, because non-reactivity is often one of the greatest responses you can give.